Hey guys, it's finally time. My name is Tim. This is Vader, my 2021 JLU Rubicon, and I've pretty much completed the first phase of the build, so this is the walk around. Okay, so first things first, the biggest upgrade, the upgrade I always think is the best to make first, was suspension, wheels, and tires. The suspension is a Metal Cloak 2.5-inch true dual lift with the Rock Sport shocks, which is awesome because it comes with all the gold parts, which is really cool. It's a Metal Cloak signature thing. On the advice of the shop, Scruggs Automotive, for those of you that are local to the Buffalo area, from a recommendation standpoint, and my uncle's JLUR also runs Metal Cloak, and I've driven that before. I kind of knew that it was going to be the perfect balance for both off-road height and daily driving stability. So super happy with the Metal Cloak lift. So for wheels and tires, supply has been an issue ever since 2020. I have the Nitto Ridge Grapplers, which are ATs. They're really smooth, don't make too much noise. I wanted 35, 12, 17s, but because of the shortage, ended up with 315, 70, 17s. But you know, it's like a 0.2 inch difference, so it's still essentially 35s on this, and they have plenty of clearance for turn radius. They work really well and look good with the 2.5-inch lift. And the tread pattern so far for off-road has been awesome. I have not driven it in the snow yet, so we'll see this winter what it's like in snow conditions, but I know a lot of people that run them in snow, so I'm not too worried about it. The wheels are 17-inch Black Rhino Arc wheels. They have an 18mm offset, and they look really cool, but I thought these would be a good balance of a really cool road look with the right size wheel that I would need for a sidewall for off-roading. So I'm pretty stoked on that. For the front bumper, the LOD Destroyer Shorty with the skid plate underneath, which is pretty awesome. I like the look of being able to see and have the clearance for the tires on the edges. And I like the exposed winch, which is pretty cool too. And the bull bar is nice because it protects the winch, and then also it gave me a spot for some extra lighting too, which is pretty awesome. And the LOD Signature rock sliders, they are frame mounted to replace the body mount ones. For the back bumper, the matching LOD Destroyer Shorty back bumper and tire carrier. So this required some rewiring of the tail light, or not the tail light, the camera. You can rewire the tail light into the license plate holder, but rerouting the camera and running the tail light up the harness on the back. It does separate, which is super cool, and it does pivot with the door, so you don't have to remove the tire carrier to open the tailgate. But the LOD Destroyer is basically the Swiss Army knife of bumpers. I have Rotopacks going on one side. I have a universal mount for Max Tracks on the other side, which I use some flat bars and some brackets from C4 Fabrications to mount using the Max Tracks pins. And I can also get a shovel and an axe on the back of that setup too. So the double mount over here gives me water and gas, or 2 gas cans, and the license plate relocation here helps free up the bumper underneath. It does come with mounts that you can choose for which light system you want in the bumper, and then of course the shackle mounts, just like the front bumper too. And it does have a CB mount as well for the CB antenna. Okay, so for lights, the Rubicon that I got came with the Jeep LED package, which is awesome. There's no reason to ever replace those lights. These LEDs with the halos and the side markers are awesome. But for night riding, in general, like being in the woods and having more lighting, and to look cool, I got the Rigid Industries D-Series Pro spots for the A-pillar. They're mounted on the Artec Industries A-pillar mounts, 2 on each side. And then up front, to complement the spots and fill in a little bit of a gap, I got a 10-inch SR Pro Series flood LED bar. So that's one way that I can fill the gap and get a nice amount of light out in front. On the bottom, for rock lights, I have the DCS lighting frame mounted lights, and I got those in red. And then on the back side, I have more D-Series floods for reverse lights. These aren't tied into the brake lights. They are, or the reverse, they aren't tied into the reverse lights. I just have them as a manual on, manual off, just so I can pick when I use them. And as a bonus light for camping, I installed an LED strip with a little battery pack, so that when I'm cooking and stuff, I can have a little extra light in addition to like the lantern and whatever else I run on the back. And it might be a little hard to tell, but I do have red ambient LED footwell lights on the inside, just as a little way to add a little style to the cabin. I have the 8-gang aux beam switch, which I only need 4 switches for, so I have the light bar, the cubes, the rear lights, and the rock lights on here. And then I have a bunch of dead buttons, which you may or may not be able to make out. Have a TIE Fighter, the Death Star, a Star Wars slave, and a probe droid. Just for fun, it's a Star Wars themed Jeep, why not use the dead buttons to do something fun? So for recovery gear, I have D-rings all around on the Destroyer bumpers. I have the worn 12,000 pound synthetic Evo winch, and I got factor 55 flat link for up here to keep it nice and tucked away behind the license plate and not have any hooks flopping around ruining powder coat or anything like that. So that's what I got going on up front. I also have the high lift. 2 reasons. One, you never know when you could use something like this. I know it's not totally useful for changing tires on the trail. I believe, I don't have it yet, but I'm going to get a bottle jack for that. Probably maybe even a hydraulic or CO2 one that I can use with my power tank. But also it looks cool. So, you know, I got a little bit for that. So the hood mount on that, I'm pretty stoked on it. It adds a nice look to the front of the Jeep. The red accent with the black for the Vader and Star Wars theme is also a nice bonus for that. All right, the other things I have inside are the 10-pound power tank for airing up, which I got because I wanted the portability of being able to take it out of the vehicle to another vehicle, and the versatility of being able to use it with tools or to re-bead a tire if it gets off the bead, something like that. So it just seemed, and it looks cool because it's up on the frame, so that's really sweet. And then as a backup, I have the little Amazon compressor that I got, and I have in here tow ropes and other tools, accessories for the power tank. I have a kinetic rope, I have a factor 55 Teflon synthetic only snatch block, which is pretty cool, and fire extinguisher. Because it's a Jeep, you never know when it's going to catch on fire, so I got one of those just in case. Also, just looks cool sitting up on the frame as well. And then on the back you have the Max Tracks, which I have 2 of right now. I'll probably eventually have 4. With the LOD Destroyer tire carrier, you have to use the universal mount. The problem with the universal mount is that it's not wide enough to work with the handles, which is what you have to mount with, because to use the pins you need to go on both ends and it's too far away. It'd be a massive structure to hold this thing. So I used a couple flat bars to make it wider. It also helped out so I could put some quick clamps on the back, which I use for shovels. And then these brackets are made by C4 Fabrications. They allow you to use the pins in a handle spot instead of in the pin spot. So these are great because if you have nothing to winch to, or it's just a quick out that you need, or you're by yourself, you can use these to get over stuff. Okay, for communications, I have the Midland MX275 GMRS radio. I have a Bofang handheld that I can tune into FRS, GMRS, whatever. the iPad and the cell phone and the touchscreen for the Jeep all get used in different ways when I'm out. These are all mounted with bullet point mounting solutions options for each side of the little cargo carrier up front. And I also have down here wired CB antenna that goes from the back. So I do have the handheld Midland CB unit, which I can plug into the cigar lighter and plug into the external antenna for extra boosted range. You never know if people are going to want to use CB, FRS, or GMRS, so I have all three because I don't know what the group's going to be doing when I go out, and I'd like to be able to make sure I can communicate. So it seems to work pretty good. I have the CB antenna on the back. I have the GMRS antenna on the front passenger side by the A-pillar lights, and they all work really well. Just depends on which one I got to tap into for the group. Okay, for a little extra something, I've got the AWE Trail Edition exhaust, which is a catback exhaust. It's got a pretty nice sound to it. It is loud, but it's not farty, and it sounds very throaty, and it's very cool. It has a little bit of a drone at highway speeds, but I kind of expect that with an exhaust. But I love it. It just makes it sound like a beast. Another fun little toy for a little bit of a performance boost is the K&N Series 63 cold air intake, which has a nice sound too. I put this in before the exhaust, and before the exhaust was in, you could really tell that it was making some noise up here in the engine. I did, however, save my stock exhaust. I don't know if in the future I'll end up wanting to put a snorkel on and have to move some stuff around, but just in case, I kept the stock exhaust. But for right now, this thing has a box around it. The opening is about the same size as the stock cold air intake, so it gives me what I think is just enough protection from moisture, but a little bit of a cool sound and engine boost. All right, some fun stuff. Decals and things like that. This is a Star Wars graphic that I made that my buddy Danny from Florida, who is another Wrangler JLU without the underscore on Instagram, cut me for the dashboard. And it is such a cool graphic. It just really makes really good for the theme for Wrangler. I just love it. It's cool seeing it when I come in. The other things that I did, he also cut me a Dark Side Off-Road sticker and some YouTube tag stickers. So that was pretty fun. I enjoyed that. It was really cool when I was able to name the YouTube channel, so thanks for everyone that's subscribed so far. I love having the graphics on the outside. It really fits the Star Wars theme. The other thing I have is the baby child seat. So that was the first mod I put in, but here's a little molly board set up behind the driver's seat with the knife and the bear spray and flashlights and med kit. So I've got that stuff back here too. And another fun thing is the front runner table that my wife got me for my birthday. Really useful for camping, and it has a slide out portion to it, and you can put the stove on there, cutting board, and that's really cool too to hang out in the back of the Jeep when you're camping or just hanging out at a park, whatever. Oh, some other fun stickers. You got the Come to the Jeep side with the Death Star, a little Vader edition sticker, and of course the Easter egg sticker, the AT-AT chasing the Jeep. And if you've never noticed them in my photos, you've got Darth Vader and the Stormtrooper up in the front. So that's it. I hope you liked the walk around of the Jeep. I'm super stoked that after 6 months I was able to do all of this. Shout out to Scruggs for being the shop that helped me with the stuff on the underneath that I will not touch. And all the people online on Instagram and everything that gave me some inspiration for some of these accessories and some ideas for the Jeep. You're the real stars. I'm looking forward to creating more videos. If you like Vader, or maybe you even like me, hit subscribe, hit the bell so you know when I make more videos, and give this video a thumbs up. I would love for more people to enjoy Vader the way that I enjoy Vader. So I'm looking forward to getting it out, testing it, keeping it in one piece because it's a daily driver, but having more adventures to share with you guys. So thanks for watching.